Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is MazezRealm once again, and welcome to another episode of my series, The Arsenal for Call of Duty Ghosts. And on this episode, I am going to be uncovering my brand new E.O.D expert loadout featuring the AAC Honey Badger. Now, for those of you who know of this weapon in real life, you'll know that it does actually have an integrated silencer or suppressor, and it uses the very special AAC 300 blackout subsonic ammunition. And in-game, it's actually represented quite well because this weapon has pretty consistent damage for being a suppressed weapon. So that is something to keep in mind. And also, you have a free attachment in-game as well. It comes with that built-in suppressor in-game, so you'll have a free attachment, and then you could stack 2 more on top of that to have 3 total attachments. And if you have the perk to actually have another attachment added, you will have a total of 4 very useful attachments with this Honey Badger. So this is a very great weapon in Call of Duty Ghosts, and you guys will very much enjoy using it. So definitely use this loadout because you will really enjoy it. Now, moving on to the other attachments that we have got the armor piercing rounds that really complement the sit rep perk that we do have equipped on the perks, which I will be talking about in a little bit here. So that is a really good attachment. And also we have got the foregrip to help us with the longer range engagements with this weapon, because it does have an interesting recoil pattern that makes it hard to hit targets at a longer range. Now, moving on to our perks, we have got Ready Up, Sleight of Hand, Scavenger, Sit Rep, which I mentioned before, Amplify, and Focus to help us stay on target when we do get shot at. Now, for our actual strike package, we have got the very trusty Support strike package with the SATCOM, the ammo crate, and the Oracle to help with further reconnaissance with this loadout. So now that we've got all that squared away, we're going to jump right into this match that is already in progress, and it is of a team deathmatch on the map Tremor. And you can clearly see right off the bat that not only do I take out that enemy pretty quickly, but I also eliminate the equipment that was placed there by him very quickly, and that's thanks to the armor piercing rounds that we have equipped. Now, for those of you who don't know, armor piercing rounds not only help with penetration power through walls, but it also helps with anti-personnel type of stuff. So if you are dealing with a Juggernaut Maniac, you can take him out much faster, and if you're dealing with the guard dog, you can eliminate that thing so quickly that it really will feel like you're killing another person. And that's why armor piercing rounds really are effective in this game. And if you haven't used that attachment yet, throw it on and enjoy it, because it really helps with those pesky score streaks that the enemy uses. So that's a really huge benefit to armor piercing rounds. Now, the foregrip helps a lot with the Honey Badger because, as I mentioned before, it does have a very interesting recoil pattern when you're engaging those enemies at medium to long range. So if you can at all avoid those really long range engagements, go ahead and do that, because this weapon is not meant for really long range combat. It's a low rate of fire weapon, and the damage, although it is really good for a suppressed weapon, it's still not the best for long-range engagement. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you are forced to take out those longer-range engagements, or those enemies at longer ranges, I should say, then by all means, feather the trigger as much as you can. This weapon actually does have a decent rate of fire, but it's very controllable. So you very much can feather the trigger as needed to get those kills at those longer ranges if you have to, but try to avoid it. That's what I'm trying to say here. So either way, you can clearly see that this loadout really performs well at the close to medium range of this particular map and other maps alike. So if you can, try to use this in a more confined area, because it will really do well. And you can clearly see that the damage is actually pretty good. It's not a bad weapon. It drops enemies quite quickly. You will be outclassed by submachine guns, obviously at close range, and assault rifles like the FAD, for example, that have a really high rate of fire. So keep that in mind, and also keep in mind that since you do have the armor-piercing rounds, as I mentioned before, don't be afraid to shoot at enemy equipment through walls, because as you just saw there, it really is effective. And for those pesky players that are using those IEDs and you know, explosive equipments and things like that, it will really wreak havoc, because sometimes you can get lucky and actually kill them with their own equipment by shooting it through walls. And on top of that, you don't give away your position because of that integrated suppressor. So you have nothing to lose by shooting at enemy equipment through walls as often as you can. Then you get the added points as well. So that really is a huge bonus with this particular loadout. And you can clearly see that it is very useful for players that camp behind their equipment. I know that a lot of you have been frustrated with those IEDs, and that's exactly why I called this loadout my E.O.D expert loadout. For those of you who don't know, E.O.D stands for Explosive Ordnance Disposal, and that is a title that you actually have in the U.S. military for those crews that actually take care of IEDs and basically eliminate those before sending in other soldiers to take care of the area. So it's basically like a sit rep type of squad that takes care of IEDs. So that's why I named it that, and that's exactly what this loadout does. It's effective in that aspect, and it's not the most mobile loadout. And you have to keep in mind that in order to be successful with this loadout, you want to make sure that you ADS before you engage an enemy as often as you can. That's why we have ready up. And just in case if we do get caught with our guard down, we can actually bring up those iron sights as quickly as we possibly can, and that will really help quite a bit. So definitely keep that in mind, because it's really going to help with those things. Now that that's all aside here, sorry about my phone going off there, guys. It does happen. Must be Twitter or something. But either way, if you guys are enjoying this loadout, please be sure to let me know in the comment section below or on Twitter, and let me know how you've been enjoying this loadout. And also, if you want to see a particular weapon and the loadout that I have for that weapon, be sure to also list that in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to test out the weapon and basically bring you guys the best loadout I could possibly make for that particular weapon. So for everything else, I'm really excited about the fact that the Arsenal is being well received here for Call of Duty Ghosts, and I look forward to making more episodes of this series for you guys. But for now, that will do it, and until next time, this has been MazezRealm. I am out.